college football boys and girls, another great contender for some Heisman talk, which we're going to get into right away with the Ducks. The D in Duck is silent. The reason I titled it this because they are all reliable. The O and O is now stands for Oregon because we have reinvented this name. It came from Nick Saban in Alabama, but you got to hand it off to the Ducks this year because they're just handling their business. And we had Uncle Lou on last Wednesday. He made a great point that the Heisman campaign hasn't been as sexy for Dillon Gabriel, given the fact that their games haven't been as advertised. Outside of that Ohio State game, they're playing on Friday nights. They play late nights. They're not playing big-time games. They're just not. The campaign isn't there for Dillon Gabriel. A measly 294 yards, 2 touchdowns this past game against a tough Michigan defense on the road. Big noon kickoff. I kind of said last week, I said there could be a little wobbliness here, just given, another true Big Ten defense. You guys went in there and handled your business like a true Big Ten team. And I said before the show, you guys are operating like Michigan had in the past 2 years, or Ohio State usually does, just mowing through this mediocre Big Ten schedule. But when you have to handle your business, you are also doing that. That's not me taking a shot. That's a fact. You haven't. The Big Ten, it is what it is. It falls off towards the bottom, right? The top echelon, though, is a great holdout here. But look, that Michigan game, you guys are handling your business. And again, Dillon Gabriel quietly getting it done. He is going to be in that conversation. Travis Hunter, Nash, and Genty, obviously, in the forefront of this conversation. Cam Ward will continue to be in this. But Dillon Gabriel is right in the mix of things. And as these games heat up, and Cam Ward and Genty and Travis Hunter, those games get a little more dicey for those guys, you could find them sneaking into the back. Again, I don't think the Ducks care about that, but it is interesting. And again, the Ducks look far and few between the best team in the country once again this far into the season. Derek the Duck, how you feeling, big guy?
Yeah, I feel really good about it, honestly. It's like coming off of this game, it's one of those things where we expected Oregon to go into the big house, even though it's a hostile environment, and just kind of take care of business. And that's exactly what happened. It never really felt like it was a overly competitive game outside of the first quarter. Oregon's offense felt like they moved the ball at will, particularly in the first half. I mean, they slowed down a little bit in the second half, but I mean, that's what it is. The defense, once again, looked pretty great. They gave up a few more yards through the air than I would like to see. I was actually completely shocked that Michigan completed any forward passes at all. So to see that happen was, a little discouraging. But, at the same time, it is what it is. Like, I think just the eye test alone of what they were able to do with, like I said, in that hostile environment with a Big Ten opponent that you have to respect, just given who they are. Oregon take care of business. And as for the Heisman campaign, I mean, once again, Dillon Gabriel just adds another game with multiple touchdowns. And, every game he's been in a Duck uniform, he's scored at least 2 touchdowns. So he's taking care of business. And I think he's going to end up in New York at the end of the year. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but
of course, this show is brought to you by BetUS. And when you use the code YouTube150 at BetUS.com on your first deposit, you get back 150%, up to $2,000. Now, you can gamble on NFL, college football, basketball, baseball. The World Series are coming up. We got college football at an all-time high. Heisman winners are going back and forth. Who's going to the SEC? Who's going to the Big 12? All kinds of things. You can literally gamble on anything you set your pretty little mind to. And on your second and third deposit, you get back 125%, up to $2,000. So be sure to go check out BetUS.com. Use the code YouTube150 to take advantage of these offers while they still last. Now back to the show.
I think he's going to have his seat in New York once the finalists are announced.
Cody?
Boy, oh boy. So me and Derek did a Duck preview, and I think I was right. I was up 100% for 100%. Every big play that the wide receivers made was off a double move. And I said that. I said, listen, Michigan's susceptible. They're very aggressive, that you can hit them on the double move. And Holden hit it. Evan Stewart hit it on the double move down the sideline. It was one after another. Their running back duo of James and Whittington looked great, scoring touchdowns and running it all over the place. And then the defense, they did give up some passing yards, but we all know what it was. It was to stop the Michigan run attack, and I thought they did a pretty good job there.
I'm going to talk about how the Oregon Ducks in this playoffs going to bowl here in just a minute. But Cody, make sure he gets his licks in when he can, because sometimes his takes are a little cold. So I'm glad your take was right on this one, Cody. And look, I've been saying it this whole offseason. Eventually, it's going to get picked up by a big major program like ESPN on the fact that I keep calling them the perfect hybrid in the Big Ten. They've built a good line to where they can sustain the big time runs and these big time offensive linemen, but the speed they have on the outside is just unmatched. Like, the Big Ten has had no answer for it, and I don't think anybody will. I want to see an Oregon Indiana matchup. I've seen the Ohio State thing. I'm not sold. Will Howard's trash. I want to see Kurt Singeti. I want to see what he throws at Oregon. I think that's going to be a phenomenal test, and both teams will make the playoffs regardless of what happens. So, Ty, your thoughts on that game, though?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a tale of two programs headed in different directions of this season. You got a new coaching regimen over there in Michigan, and you have Oregon, who has talent all over the field, and they are primed to make a national championship run. Uh, Once again, you sit there and you watch them. It's 1 week it's Evan Stewart, 1 week it's Tez Johnson, 1 week it's Trayshawn Holden, 1 week it's Jordan James, 1 week it's Noah Whittington. I mean, the talent's just endless over there. This game wasn't really a contest at any point. I know it was 7-7 after the first quarter, but you never really felt like Oregon was in any danger. And I would like to just thank you so much, Lanning, for making that touchdown with 25 seconds to cover the 14.5 and send the hook. Thank you.
Dad, get it done. We were talking before the show. I go, look, this Oregon team kind of falls into that trap that most big teams do, that they kind of go through their schedule. And again, this is not a shot to the Oregon fans. You play the schedule that you're given, but it is a matter of a fact, and I'm not hating on it. And then you kind of close out those big games there at the end, and you get into the playoffs, and you kind of get the kitchen sink thrown at you. There's an advantage with this 12-team playoff, where the team that you guys are going to have to go up against is going to play. They're going to play in a playoff atmosphere and come into that Oregon situation, wherever that bowl game is held, and be on that back foot. So getting a bye is massive. Being a top 4 team has much more value than it has had in the past, and I don't think people will start to notice or appreciate it until we see it unfold into the season. And there could be an argument of like, well, you see this in baseball a lot, but it's a little bit different with football. Is it playing that game one? Do you have a little bit of a rhythm? Are you able to work some kinks out? Will there be an advantage just kind of playing week over week? Now there are more games, so you kind of have that wear and tear. You take possibilities of getting injured, those things. But it's going to be interesting to see, is there an advantage of coming off that game from that first round bye? But that's far down the road, but it is just something to kind of start talking about and getting into. On Tuesday, we'll get the first seeding / ranking ESPN. I'll get to you, Cody, for the season. We're going away from the AP poll. So it could be, it might be, it probably will be much different than this AP poll that we got today. So the Tuesday rankings are going to be the true legitimate rankings that they utilize for the seeding, which is much different than rankings, which is, I'm like, why do you even have both? Just give me the seedings, because that's what gives me the playoff lineup. Cody?
Yeah, so I think I made this prediction a couple weeks ago, and you guys thought I was crazy. I said, the road runs through Bloomington, Indiana, and you talk about a great take.
Nobody said you're
I
crazy.
I guess it's just coming to fruition again.
He's trying to overcome the Vandy take, and I get it. I appreciate it, but
I think we need to see the receipts. I'm not convinced this actually happened.